Here's a use case where we've deeply integrated ChatGPT into a enterprise business software. And this is a fully custom integration where we're using ChatGPT to create content and then write that content back into specific fields into our database. Now, to have this work, we essentially send some basic details to ChatGPT. So it's got context of what we want it to create. Then we're just sending an ID of the thing that we want to write a data back to. Then we feed all that into our ChatGPT module. Now here we've just got two very simple prompts. First prompt is telling it what it is. Then we're giving it a brief about what we want it to do and what the response should look like. To give you some context, this is an entertainment company and they have to write a lot of data whenever they create a new position for an act. Acts have multiple performers that are performing for that act. For instance, you might have a juggling clown and you might have a juggling sword thrower. Each of those positions, the performers need to know about the role that they're playing. So what's the background of the role? What's the motivation behind that character? What are their relationships? What quirks does that character have? What are their eyes doing? All of that is really important when it comes to high-level entertainment. So what we do here is we ask ChatGPT to essentially create a character and then fill in all the blanks for us. And we feed in some basic information, and then from there, ChatGPT can then create and fill in the rest of the blanks. So here's what the output looks like. We've looked at the input, or we had a look at what we were asking it to do. Then we looked at the input of the data that we're sending it, which is message 2 here, and we're not sending it very much. Then here we've got our output, and we've got our background, our motivation, our past experiences, our relationships. We've also asked it to create a list of phrases that those performers can say and that we want them to talk about. Maybe a list of the traits that particular character has, what their eyes are doing, what their mouth is doing. And you can see the depth and the creativeness of this response. For instance, under relationships, this particular character, which is a service dress for a Roaring Twenties event, the motivation is that the character is driven by a passion to transport guests to a different era. She aims to make every event unforgettable by blending sophistication with delightful service. That's right on target for what this character is. Here under the quirks, we've got with a penchant for speaking in vintage slang, perfect. She adds an authentic touch to her performances. Her love for jazz, perfect. Often sees her humming classic tunes. That's exactly what we want this performer to be doing at this event. Stickler for detail, she meticulously ensures her costume and service pieces are period accurate down to the last sequin. And let's have a look at the phrases. So these are things that this particular performer might want to say at the event. We're giving them some prompts here. Care for a splash of bubbly? Isn't this the cat's meow? Step back in time with a taste of elegance. Enjoy the decadence of the Roaring Twenties. Nothing but the best for you. Raise your glass to the golden age. Yeah, perfect. Eyes. Her eyes sparkle like champagne, full of mischief and delight. Mouth, perfectly painted in a classic 1920s Cupid bow. Her smile is both inviting and sophisticated. Now, I can see that the performer is going to be getting excited when they're reading this, and that's the exact intention that we're hoping to have by giving them all this information. It's a fantastic little addition to this custom-built app that we've built for this entertainment company, and it saves them a whole lot of time because before, their entertainment specialist was having to type in all this information and think about what they're going to type. And it'd literally take them like an hour to create one position for one act. And most acts have 4, 5, 6 positions, right? So take them half a day to create one new act. Now they can add the positions and they can just click a button anytime that they want to regenerate the response. And quite often what they'll do is they'll click the button, they're not quite happy with the response, so they'll adjust the inputs a little bit, and then they'll click the button again, and then they get another generation of that response. Now, once they've got a response that's close enough to what they want, then they can still customize it because they can edit it all in the back end of their system. And when ChatGPT was released, the entertainment specialists started to put prompts into ChatGPT. The problem was that they had to copy information from their system, paste it into ChatGPT, and it was very manual still. They still had to copy and paste them and copy the response back and paste it back in their database. They had to do all this little legwork between the two systems. And because there was no system around it, when they put in the pasted information from their database, they'd have to write the prompt every time. And then they would get an inconsistent response because maybe they forgot a few lines in the prompt. Or they'd have to explain to ChatGPT that I want a list of phrases, not one phrase. So by building this inside of a make scenario, we had the opportunity to write and refine the prompt every single time that this runs. And this has been running over and over again for 6 months or so now. And so this client has really refined what that prompt says and the outputs that they want from this ChatGPT request. So now all they do is click a button. That's it, just a 2-second click of a button, and all the data is read from their existing data structure, fed into ChatGPT, and then output back into their existing data structure into all the right fields and all the right places. So that's one way that you can use ChatGPT to really enhance your existing business processes by leveraging the ChatGPT API and a simple button click. You can pull data from your databases and send it back to your databases, either cleaned or enhanced with ChatGPT.